All right. I think we're live. We're live. Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. All right, welcome to the second YouTube stream. Only my second stream. Been on Twitch for a while. I'm going to keep Twitch for my gaming, but other stuff I'm going to do here. I've been trying to get this set up all week. You may have seen the rough stream we did last week. Did it with the brains. Been trying to get this set up all week, but I've been sick all week. My pint of wine. Pretty sure I had COVID. That was fun. But I'm pretty sure I'm okay today, too. So, like I said, I'm switching over from Twitch for some things. I'm going to keep Twitch for my gaming. I'm not doing much gaming right now. I'm playing Still Wakes the Deep. And I'm going to try and do at least one stream a day. We'll see. And I'm not going to make them very long. I know it's the TLDR generation. So unless it's an art stream on here, it shouldn't be that long. Gaming streams on Twitch, I mean, they'll go however long that goes. I'll be streaming season 2 of Suicide Squad on Thursday for sure on Twitch. So Daxula on Twitch as well. Tonight I'm not going to go very long because, as you can tell, my voice is still kind of shot. Plus, I've been trying to get to it, but in addition to recovering from the sickness, for one, my dog, has it been 2 minutes? No. My dog crapped all over himself, so I had to wash him. I had to get showered myself. I'm fasting for the Eleusinian rite, so I'm really hungry, and with my metabolism, that's dangerous. So it's not going to be that big of a stream tonight either. What I want to do tonight, one of the things that got in the way of everything today was I really want to take today off from politics. If you know me, then you know for the last couple of months I've been seriously hitting politics, which is completely anti to my entire life, pretty much. And that's because this election isn't just political. This election is, I mean, everybody's saying it because it's true. It's the most important election in U.S. history, probably. I don't even think that probably needs to be there. And it's not just political because it's existential for us. It is environmental for everybody because we kind of, we tend to lead the stage on a lot of things, and we're trying to do it on environmental, and we're doing pretty good. Existential, environmental, and it's spiritual. It's spiritual too. What we're seeing over here in the U.S. is, it was summed up very nicely today. The silent majority is no longer silent. I was working at an ER when COVID hit during the Trump presidency, and at the time, and for one, I supported Trump at the time. It was stupid. I got caught up in the wanting to see a change thing, another Clinton, another Bush. What, really? But, I mean, almost as soon as he got in, even before COVID, I mean, it was clear to anyone with capacity for rational thought that he shouldn't be there, and that something was wrong. And then when COVID hit, everybody changed. I was saying it was exactly as if everyone's mask was ripped off. I'm not talking about COVID mask. And at the time, I thought it was COVID. I thought that it was the outbreak. But now I'm certain it wasn't. And I can't blame it 100% on Trump, although he is definitely a catalyst. The issue this year is that there's more than one issue. I fully don't think that Trump is a mastermind, uh, and that everything that's going on is his fault. Uh, what I do believe is that silent majority is no longer silent. Uh, there's a lot of racism and sexism just out in the open, and more than anything, misconception. Lately, I've been calling it. Lately, I've been calling so you got attention deficit disorder, but lately I've been referring to this as attention avoidance disorder. Um, Most people, they I can't say most people, at least a third of the people, a good number of people, they avoid truth, avoid it, actively avoid it. They choose to be ignorant. Um, I was seeing a psychological report today about why that is, the hero bots. Uh, but but basically, uh, they're just choosing to be ignorant. It's easier for them to not know anything because then they're more fulfilled in what they think they know. So before I really get into, and I guess I'm going to, it sounds like I'm starting with the political aspect of my stream. That's because I was trying to explain what one of the hindrances I had today. So I was trying to take a break from all politics today. Uh, I took a break from just about everything yesterday. Yes, I'm not one to rest, but yesterday I had to rest. Even feeling bad with a fever the other day and a migraine, I was still mowing my yard in 104 degree weather. But yesterday I finally relaxed and didn't do anything except try to draw a little bit. And then today I was trying to take a break from politics because if you're a global empath, the politics over here are devastating, just devastating. People are uh, there's numerous people in the U.S. seeing counselors about their stress levels right now. This poor YouTuber I ran into earlier today, I had to reach out to because she's crumbling under it. But I wanted to take a break from politics, and then Biden dropped out of the race. So I'm going to backtrack a little bit, give you an introduction to me, because I'm new to YouTube. So I am Dax, obviously. That's where the Daxula comes from. It's Daxula because Dracula is still my favorite book. I'm an avid reader. I read just about anything I can get my hands on, which is a problem, a double-edged sword. Um, uh, Bram Stoker's Dracula, by the way, still my favorite. Still my favorite book. I am a no one. I'm not. I'm a no one. I'm a starving artist. I don't have a job. I had a 9 to 5 until recently. A lot of life changes since October. Um, but I'm a starving artist. I'm a nobody. Um, I'm not smart, but I'm inquisitive. And I'm I'm a bit of a recluse now. With one of the things I did in October was I withdrew because the way people have been, a good deal of the people that you run into over here, I was kind of tired of it. So I withdrew in October. My choices were I was ready to either sell everything and move to Tanzania to help out with some volunteer work there, or Haiti was another one I was thinking about, which, as I was talking to somebody a couple months ago, if I'd chosen Haiti, I'd probably not be here. Um, but both of my parents are, well, my dad's a stroke victim. My mom fell on her head. And all my siblings and I live quite a bit away from them. So I found myself with the opportunity for one of us to move closer. So I moved to a dinky little town in the middle of nowhere, Texas, close to my parents. Keep an eye on them. uh, yeah, like I said, nobody. I'm a nobody. Um, but I am a I. I am a firm believer in the truth. Like I said, I'm a starving artist. If I was an expert in anything, it would probably, well, I mean, I can say I'm an expert in art, that's for sure. Anything else would probably be philosophy. I've been reading philosophy since I was in seventh grade, I think. So the only things I might be an expert in are um, art, philosophy, and maybe people. Because I tend to engage. I've never really been one to back down from that. Stupidly brave or bravely stupid. One of the two. I don't know. I am son of a preacher man, but also a pagan. Um, hence the Eleusinian stuff, and we'll get into that later. Um, like I said, more than anything, I'm a dad. I've got two boys, and they are great people. Love them and miss them to death. And I'm future dad-in-law. Love you, Lex. And one of my boys might actually start taking place in the Eleusinian services with me. So working on that. I'm probably going to do some art for that tomorrow. All the art that you're going to see is 100% me. I was going to do a little section about the art, plug the art, but I'll just set the art up. That'll save some time anyway. So any of the art you see is me. Running the video, me. Any writing that gets done, me. Any research that gets done, me. So tonight, like I said, I'm not going to plug the art much. I'll just put it up there while I talk. And I'm versed in just about every medium of art as well as digital. Nowadays, I pretty much do digital. I'm trying to make that a sustainability. So the other two things I want to touch on, I want to go back to the politics a bit because it's such a crucial time over here. We got 4 more months. Yeah, 4 more months, and all shit could hit the fan. Um, and while that's a metaphor, it's not too much of a metaphor. Today, our president, who was going to run for re-election, dropped out. So, even though I didn't want to do politics today, I do want to give a little tribute to Biden. And I'm sorry, I got a little error message. Well, hopefully everything is still coming through on your end. I noticed that the service was not doing too well. There's some storms coming. There's some storms hanging around. I am near a coast. So hopefully it's not interfering with the stream much. Well, the error is still there. I'm just going to roll with it. So, as I was saying, sorry about that. Today, Biden dropped out of the race. He's had COVID. Now, the reason he dropped out was pretty much dealing with the debate from back in June, not even a month ago. And in this debate, my first reaction was I told somebody he had COVID. As I said, when COVID hit, I was working in an ER, and we got pretty good at figuring out if somebody had COVID. So, right after the debate, talking to somebody, I told somebody it seemed like he had COVID. He announced that he was sick, that he had a cold. He announced that he had a COVID test and that it came back negative. But that was actually pretty typical too. We were having tons of people that were coming back negative, and then next day, oh, they were positive. Within 2 days, oh, they were positive. And watching him on the road with that cough continuing, with the bad voice continuing, it was just enforcing what I already thought. So, the debate. I'm going to try and make this as quick as I can. So, one of the things I'm going to do is I am going to have political streams because I've noticed that a lot of people not sure what's going on with the stream. I'll try and check on it while I'm talking to you. Anyway, I've noticed that a lot of people really don't know what they're voting for right now. Because Biden has a debate, 90 minutes of a debate with Donald Trump. And in those 90 minutes, Biden was confused, for sure. Fatigued, definitely. It looks like it's still streaming. I think we're okay. So, fatigued for sure. Confused a couple of times, definitely. He did make, I think I counted 3 mistakes. I think he made like 3 mistakes, but they weren't even full mistakes. The I beat Medicare was pretty bad, but there was obviously something wrong. Now, after that, media just jumped on it, and it was Biden's too old, Biden needs to jump out. That's all. That's all you saw, which was puzzling to me because the other guy literally lied about everything. He didn't answer. He may have answered one question. I think he answered like almost all of a question, part of another. But then he lied. I think he lied like 30 times in the 90 minutes. It was like a minute and a half. Every minute and a half, the guy lied. And then the guy claims that he won. That guy claims that he won the debate. He lied for 90 minutes, didn't answer the questions, didn't respond truthfully about anything. The closest thing he was truthful about, as always, the closest thing he had to truth was the border, but even that is skewed. So, and lots of people agreed that he won. And media would only show that he won and that Biden was old and needs to drop out. There was no talk about the fact that this guy did not tell the truth at all during a debate. And as I said before, I engage a lot. And engaging, I have found that the people willing to vote for this guy don't care. They don't care. They either don't think that the things he says are lies, or they know and don't care, and don't want to know the truth. And that's a problem. That's the misconceptions. So basically, the guy can say whatever he wants, and people just applaud and cheer. The guy, I mean, yesterday, and I watched the whole things, all of the things, and it is a chore. The guy yesterday said he had a 210 IQ. He said that, and people laugh and they're like, "Oh, Trump jokes." And my question then is, if Trump jokes, what's his platform? If you know that he jokes, if you think that all these lies are just jokes, but the lies are about actual campaign issues, then what's the platform? If they're all jokes or falsehoods, how do you know what the platform is? And a lot of people that respond to me, that is in fact what they say. They say that they're voting on his platform because they don't agree with Biden's platform. They prefer Trump's platform. And so I ask them what it is about the platform that they're voting for, or I respond with what they were saying is untrue about the platforms, and then there's no response. That's when the conversation's end. Attention avoidance disorder. So what I'm going to do when I do and again, I'm a nobody. Um, we'll start. We'll backtrack and we'll go back to the nobody part for this. So before those 2 months, I think it was that I said, before those 2 months in which I became pretty politically endowed, I just want to use that word. Before I became pretty politically endowed, uh, I was anti-politics, but I started noticing patterns, um, and the patterns were really disinformation, dishonesty, untruth, and hell, I've got truth tattooed on my hand, so it's kind of a big thing to me. That's not to say I never lied. I have lied, but I got past it. Now I don't lie. I can be wrong. It happens. In fact, I'm about to tell you that it happens, but I don't lie, and I don't like lies. So I started noticing these patterns, and then I started researching because I'm intuitive, rereading things that I haven't read in 30 plus years, um, reading things that I've never read, looking into experts. What I found is the media, I mean, and you hear this, but you don't really pay attention to it. You don't want to. The media is mostly skewed. And I'll get into that in another stream. But the why. I'll get into the why in another stream in depth. I'm going to touch on it. I'm going to touch on the why just a little bit tonight, and I'm going to touch on one fact a little bit tonight because I do want to keep this short. I want to keep all the streams kind of short. Um, and as I go forward, I will endeavor to um, put the information out there for you with actual proof. Direct quotes, pictures of it if I can, videos of it if I can. I mean, as you can see, I've been kind of going all out. But so I started noticing all this stuff, and so I started researching and researching. I found myself, because of what happened, I found myself with time to do so, uh, and came to find out that, especially after discovering Project 2025, come to find out our democracy is actually at risk. You see both candidates saying that. One obviously can't be trusted. If you lie 30 times in 90 minutes, you just can't be trusted. So if a guy that lied for 90 minutes straight tells me that democracy is at risk, I'm probably not going to think anything of it. Alternatively, the guy that was mistaken 3 times, he was dead wrong once, yes, but the other 2 times he was only kind of mistaken, um, and who has a track record, which you didn't see in the media, you saw the opposite of that. If you have the choice between voting for the guy that lies for 90 minutes straight and says democracy's at risk, and the guy that doesn't lie for 90 minutes straight tries to track. I think a lot of the problem was he tried to fact check the guy next to him too often. It wasn't his job; it was the moderator's jobs, and they didn't do it. Um, that was the worst political debate in every way, shape, and form I've ever seen. Shame on CNN. But he still tried. He tried to fact check. He tried to stick to the questions. He answered most of the questions. Um, but more importantly, the guy has been performing. The media that you see says that he hasn't. The other guy that lied for 90 minutes straight says that he hasn't. So one of the things we're going to do tonight is we're going to disprove that particular lie, and the lies that came because of it. And then going forward, when I do political streams, I'll try and do, I'm not going to do every day because it is crushing. Um, I'll try and do a few a week. I will try and find all the facts, put them out there for you. So, because right now, independent, I don't want to call it reporting, fact checking. What's a good word for not reporting, but reporting? I don't know. We'll just call it streaming. Truth streaming. So the need for truth streaming right now is massive because it's such a huge, huge fight. So I've already gone longer than I wanted to, but basically, what you're hearing about Biden, what most people I'm talking to are saying about Biden is that he's ruined our country. That's, if you think about it, that is Trump's whole manifesto, his modus operandi, his whole platform is, in fact, that our country sucks and needs to be made great again. We've been given no idea of when it was actually great originally, unless you read Project 2025, and then they pretty much say that it was great before 1984. If you actually read all 926 pages, they insinuate that it was great before the Civil Rights Act. I'm not going to touch on Project 2025 tonight, or Trump's lies that he's not involved with it. I'm going to consider that we're all smart enough to get past that for tonight. I'll do that later. But his whole fucking running gag is that Biden has been today, just today, when Biden dropped out, he was saying that Biden has been the worst president we ever had. Point of fact, Biden has probably been the second best president we ever had. And what's funny is the other guy was in far worse shape in his last reelection bid. FDR couldn't even have, he would have had to have been wheeled across the debates stage, and he probably wouldn't have been able to make it 90 minutes. But fantastic presidency, even his, I think, his last year. So, so we're gonna crush a little of the falsehood. We're gonna do that tonight. That's the only fact checking I'm gonna do tonight. That's the wrong bit. It is a good bit, but that's the wrong one. So, and we're gonna go back to one also. I'm waiting for YouTube to catch up. All right. So these are actual statistics. When the Orange Pimpernel gets up there and he says that America is not great, I'm telling you flat out, America is the greatest country in recovery from COVID, period. Now, half of Trump's presidency had COVID, and the first couple of years of Biden's had COVID. So your choices when looking at this stuff, your argument, if you're a Trumpite, that's what I think Trumpists, I think is the popular term. I don't call them that. I call them Trumpites. And the extreme Republicans, I call them repubes. So, because there are actually good moralistic Republicans right now. It's this crazy nationalist bullshit that we got to get past. So the Trumpites will say, and you may be a Trumpite, Trumpites will say, well, of course, Trump had to deal with the pandemic. Well, in the first couple of years, he didn't have to deal with the pandemic. He just had to deal with his own impeachment. But if you're giving credit to Trump for the pandemic, then you also have to give credit to Biden for the pandemic, correct? Because we don't do double standards here, correct? So since there is that even playing field, we're going to approach this from the standpoint of an even playing field, which means what you're looking at right now is the crime rate that you keep hearing so much about. Crime is at an all-time high. Direct Trump quote. Well, it's bullshit. In fact, more than Trump is saying that. This outbreak of crime, you got House members saying that. You got Senate members saying that. You got Republican streamers saying it. Crime is not at an all-time high. Point of fact, crime is at an all-time low. All-time low. I didn't mean to do that, sorry. Crime is at an all-time low in our country. Did I go the wrong way? Feels like I'm pressing left and it's going right. How does that happen? Still going right. Go left. Thank you. Okay. So crime is actually at an all-time, not an all-time, since the 90s. It's at a low since the 90s. I really don't know what it's doing right now. Oh, it's playing. That's what it's that. Yay, I got it. Okay. So crime is at an all-time. You'll have to forgive me. A lot of these controls are new to me. I'm trying new stuff, and I will continue to try new stuff and become more and more and more advanced, and it'll be good for everybody. Since I'm doing this intercession, I will also say that I'm not aligned to the left. I'm not aligned to the right. That's one of the other things that I run into when I engage people. People automatically assume that I am this hardcore Democrat. I'm not. I'm also not a Republican. I'm neither. I'm literally neither. That's why when I go back to my main screen, you're going to see that little Eleusinian party in the bottom right. I actually, that is my assignment, and it's a reference to a mystery. Uh, I I don't like the fact that there's two parties. Most of the things in life, in nature, in people, in my opinion, can be broken down into three parts. We'll get into that to another stream. But I really feel there needs to be a third party that's kind of the center party. Um, that is the moral checks and balances of the other two. This year, I'm Democratic, 100%. There's no bones about it. I'm so on board with Kamala Harris right now. Anyway, we'll get to that. So you keep hearing about all these crime sprees. It's bullshit. You're being bullshitted by King Bullshit. The Oompa Loompa has you in his pocket. We are not in any sort of upscale in crime. We are in a downscale in crime. And that includes crime because of people coming in the border or elsewise. The only crime that we are scaling up in, you can probably guess what I'm going to say, is gun violence. Mass shootings, like the one that happened a week ago, because it was a mass shooting. Mass shootings are the only thing that we're upscaling in. And it's a sad upscale. And one party is fighting that, the other's not. One party is fighting that, the other is promoting AR-15s, the very gun that was used in the mass shooting. They wear on lapel pins. They fought to have the restrictions to that very style of gun taken off. So crime is not at an all-time high. Crime is not even close to an all-time high. It's going the opposite direction. We're doing great on crime as a nation et al. This is an item of major concern, however. This slide is the outlook everybody has towards our economy. So the reason why, well, you have to ask what the reason might be, right? Why would we feel so bad about our economy? Well, maybe because 50% of the people are following a guy who is constantly telling them that our economy is shit. Think that might account for it? If you're being lied to so much, so often, so steadfastly, that it is ingrained on your capacity for thought, don't you think that might affect how you view the country that you live in? Yeah, it will. So yeah, the thought that our economy is shit is definitely up. People don't think America is great. And let me tell you, when you're suffering this bad from self-confidence, just think about how that affects your decisions. All right, now, I mean, this one kind of, I'll read it, but it kind of speaks for itself. A larger share of U.S. adults cite economic problems as the most important issue facing the nation. I mean, it follows right along with what we were talking about. So they're constantly being told that America is shit. America needs to be great again. Well, what does that say? That says that America is not great now. Biden has ruined our economy. Well, that means that we don't have a good economy. Worst president ever? Oh, well, we must be piling our country into the sand. Well, it's bullshit. You're being bullshitted. But I mean, these are the effects of it. A ton of people, even though we'll get into all the ways we're doing well. Even though we're doing well, a ton of people think that we're not. They just don't think that we are. This is the proof that you have been misled. If you're watching this and you're thinking that our country is shit, this is the proof that you are wrong. Well, this is stating that you're not alone. Excuse me, I was wrong. This is stating that you are not alone. Everything else is going to be telling you that you are wrong. So this is the emoluments clause in the Constitution, the actual Constitution. This emoluments clause. I have seen a shit ton of people saying that Trump didn't take a salary. He gave up his salary for us. He didn't even get paid to do the job. Well, for one, he didn't do the job. He really only accomplished one thing while he was in office. We're not going to really talk much about that tonight. We'll talk about it a little bit. He really only accomplished one thing while he was in office, so he didn't even do the damn job. The reason he didn't take a salary is because if he took a salary, he couldn't take pay from people outside of the U.S., and he has tons of international obligations. This is why he did it. Now, he didn't tell you that. Of course, he's not going to tell you why he did it, but this is why he did it. What he tells you is another lie. I don't need it. I'm here for you. Yeah, that's bullshit. You're bullshit. All right, GDP. This is our global worth. And the global worth of the U.S., I mean, I believe it's not on the slides. I could be wrong, but I think it's the highest it's ever been. We are leading in GDP right now, and that's not necessarily the norm either. So our GDP is great. We recovered from the pandemic better than any other country. The economy itself, stock market does not matter as much as GDP globally. So, I mean, even though I'm going to touch on stock market, realize that this is one of the most deciding factors in whether or not our economy is actually crumbling. It's not. Our economy is doing fucking great, better than everybody else. In fact, today, two economies of I don't like saying enemies, but two of our non-allies. Two of our non-allies are really struggling as of today. So this is huge. But America's not great, right? Go forward. There we go. Inflation. So the Oompa Loompa really likes to float inflation at you because he knows, and most people I talk to repeat this. He knows that this is what hits people most: your pocketbooks. I'm not going to wax moralistic on how selfish you are from your standpoint being 100%. Well, my money this, my money that. I'll wax moralistic later at a different time on that. But if you are thinking my money this, my money that, then you should hate Trump. Our inflation, yes, it was skyrocketing, but currently the inflation is not skyrocketing. It's been going down, and this shows a lull, but this is actually a couple of days old. It's actually gone down even more. So our inflation is actually going in the right direction. The biggest reason for our inflation were the changes that Trump made. And the changes that he's talking about implementing would actually make our inflation skyrocket again. So our inflation being crippling is a lie. Our inflation being bad, I mean, matter of perspective, sure it's bad, but it's not going in the direction that you're being told it is. It's another lie that you're being told, another misconception, whatever you want. However you want to mistake, however you want to view that, whatever is best for your sleep at night, there you have it. Our inflation is actually going in the right direction, and that's because of Biden. This is really rooted in the same thing. But what's important here is that word in the middle up there, savings. So this is the reason why you're seeing all these student loan reliefs that Biden's putting out. Our savings is crashing. student loans is one of the ways that Biden saw that he could help that, because this the federal the government, excuse me, the government can actually interfere with student loan obligations. So it's one way that he could actually, and keep in mind, a lot of the stuff we put on Biden is not him, but it's the government itself. So this is one of the ways the government could actually interfere to help with the low savings lately. And I mean, my savings is not that great. How great is yours? So he's been trying to help the next generation's savings for our economy. Not just for our economy, but for the future of our people. It is a commendable act. But oh, my money is going to all these kids. Okay, good. I've got 2 of these kids. Good. All right. So I mean, that really speaks for itself. I'll read it. The S&P 500 is booming, buoyed by optimism that the U.S. will avoid a recession. Okay, you keep hearing we're headed for a recession. We're headed for a recession. Do you see when we were headed for a recession last? COVID. Oh, dip and recover. Do you see when we were most in danger of a recession recently? Oh, and who was the president at the time? Oh, okay, but who did the work in recovering it? Exactly. That's really small. Can I make that bigger? I'm gonna make that bigger. Okay. Hopefully everybody can see that. So the biggest hit on our debt for sure, and a lot of our economy was actually Trump's, and it is the biggest reason for what we've been seeing the last couple of weeks too, was actually Trump's tax cut. So Trump's 2017 tax cut was heavily skewed towards billionaires. Billionaires, I'm going to say as an average, only pay about 8% tax right now, while the rest of us pay around 20%, right? So they saw a massive tax relief, while the rest of us saw a minor, very small tax relief. And people have told me, well, what the hell does that matter? I still saw a tax relief. That is the most short-sighted thing that you can say. So if it had been an even tax break, you would have seen more of a tax relief. So remember how I talked about Trump's salary earlier? He didn't take the 400K. Well, so because of his own tax break, he was seeing 10 to 15 million returned a year. That squashes 400K by quite a bit, don't you think? The the Trump tax break, the billionaire tax break, is actually set to expire in 2025. It has been a center point of Biden's work the last couple of weeks. He's been really speaking out about it. I've been completely happy. So he's been talking about the fact that he's going to get rid of it. He's going to make the billionaires pay 25, 24, 25% tax. They're going to be doing more than their share, finally, which means all the changes that he had in store for our economy for the better, they're going to cover. Yeah, imagine that. So the billionaires that don't hardly pay any taxes will be paying their share of taxes, and for all the changes that Biden was talking about, what is it Trump calls them? Bidenomics. All the Bidenomics that he's been talking about, you're not even going to have to dish out for. And that's also going to bring the debt down. So national debt's super high, of course. Well, once that tax is gone, once that tax cut's gone, once Biden can make a change to it next year, not Biden anymore. Once there could be a change made to it next year, and I'm hoping that she speaks out against it soon too. That's going to change. So literally everything you've been told is a lie. And now I got to shrink it again, of course. 1 second. This is really more of what I've talked about already. In fact, I think a lot of them are going to be stuff that I've talked about already. Yeah, this is kind of this is a tag along to the last slide. It's just talking about the monetary values. Uh, this is something that Trump takes credit for. So during Trump's presidency, he actually had like the worst presidency as far as unemployment. At the end of Trump's presidency, there were far less jobs than when he took the office. Uh, in this particular iota, he is the worst president. I know that, what is it, 150 historians voted him the worst president. So definitely in this particular item, he is the worst president. But also notice Biden's. Yeah, exactly. Unemployment kind of evened back out, right? Well, that wasn't Trump. The skyrocket, that was Trump. Boom. So, and I've already gone longer than I wanted to on this. So the guy you're seeing there did pretty damn well. Out of 46 people, he was probably number two. Uh, Moralistically, maybe tied for first with two other guys. Uh, the guy is such a good guy that he hasn't used the presidential immunity that he was given. You need to realize that once Trump's corrupt Supreme Court uh, enacted their unconstitutional ruling that the President of the United States has immunity to official acts of office. In addition, anything that they do can't be used as evidence towards them. Once that was enacted, Biden was free to do just about anything he wanted. And I know that that's a gross exaggeration, but it's not much of one. Anything that can be deemed a executive office action, you couldn't even use anything he said or did as evidence against. The very item that Trump's lawyers brought up in the Supreme Court, I think it was actually Sotomayor, says, what if the president wanted to call SEAL Team 6 and have them eliminate a candidacial opponent? Trump's lawyers said, yeah, they should have immunity to that. So Biden could have called up SEAL Team 6 and had Trump eliminated. Never had to think anything about it because it's official act, executive order. Because he's the executive chief of the military. The fact that he didn't do anything is testament to how good of a guy he is. Now, I said I was going to touch on this a little bit, so I'm going to touch on this a little bit. Biden's biggest opponent was not Trump. Biden's biggest opponent was the billionaires because he was very anti-corporate greed. And he announced openly that that's what he was fighting, and that probably spelled his doom. The reason he dropped out of this race was not because he was too old to do the job, because he was doing the fucking job. The reason he dropped out of this race is because his party crumbled. And crumbled. And crumbled. Democrats are known for being cowards, and a good portion of them probably saw all this shit and crumbled, left his side. Biden did the honorable and respectable and moralistic and selfless thing and dropped out. He is the epitome of not quitter. You think that Trump is a not quitter? Is a not quitter. You think that Trump is the epitome of not quitter? No. No. The bullshit that he pulled last week during the shooting is proof positive of that. The way he's reacting to Biden dropping out is proof of that. Biden is the not quitter. The fact that this guy went against everything within him to drop out is proof that he did it for a moralistic reason. Like I was saying, his party crumbled and he needed unity. We needed unity, and we weren't getting it. We weren't getting unity from a nation. It was split. People say 2 ways, I think 3 ways. But I always think 3 ways. But his party was definitely split 2 ways. It was so stupid that you had people saying that Kamala should take over. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Kamala. It was so stupid that you had people saying Kamala should take over. Well, if Kamala should take over, then you shouldn't have anything to worry about and you should shut up, because if something does happen to him, she does take over. So the idea that he should drop out when he was doing the job was just ludicrous. I mean, it's still ludicrous. The idea that he should drop out while he was doing the job, and he was hitting the road with COVID and performing, and oh my God, tearing interviewers apart. His interview last week was so good. And the last couple of months, I've really become a Biden lover. This is a good dude. He's a good man. And let me tell you, our country could use some good white guys. There's not many good white guys in our country. Am I racist? Probably. I'm probably racist because there's not that many good white guys. When I think of just about anything, I might judge you because of your color. If I see a darker colored individual, I might think that they're better than a light colored individual. When I think of all the music on my phone, and I've got thousands, I think I have 7,000 songs on my phone. The majority of that is black artists. Black artists. That's not even counting the brown artists and a lot of yellow artists. When you think of sports, I mean, when I think of politicians, Jasmine Crockett's pretty fucking awesome. AOC's pretty fucking awesome. Kamala is kind of a badass. Say what you will about whatever you want to say about her. She's a badass. So this is supposed to be respect to Biden. So this is my homage to Biden. And I'm going to wrap it up here. This is my homage to Biden. Biden has had one hell of a presidency. You've been lied to about his presidency, and you should feel the same for yourself. Hopefully now you'll have a little bit of insight into the actuality of the stuff that's been going on while you were drinking the Flavor Aid. But he's done great. He's even run great. But what he did was for the better of everybody. And I'm telling you now, I'm 105% signed on for Kamala. I did it again. I swore I wasn't going to do this either. I'm 105% signed on for Kamala. What I would like, let me tell you, if I could have anything that I would like, that. If I could have anything I would like, it would be that. It's probably not going to happen. But if I could get a Harris Buttigieg 24 ballot, yes. Yes. I love Biden. Even if it's only for the past 2 months. Like I said, I'm a nobody. I'm not smart. I was very anti politics, and that was my fault. And so a lot of this is on me as well. Blame can be put on me. I was wrong. A lot of the stuff I thought, I was wrong. It's not that I can't be wrong. It's not that I'm a know-it-all. I would like to know it all. That's why I like to research shit. So I can absolutely be wrong. And I'm at a point in my life I like to be wrong. So please prove to me that I'm wrong. I've been wrong for decades. The last couple of months, I've been in a place that I was actually to be able to research, made to research. And I'll tell you this, Jasmine Crockett is the reason why I researched. Last couple of months, I've been at a point where I was able to research and found out just how wrong I was. So when I do these political posts, when I'm reaching out to you and I feel condescending, I probably am. I probably am condescending a little bit, but it's not because I don't like you. I would say my biggest flaw is that I tend to love everybody. I can't say I like everybody. Yeah, so I probably am condescending because a lot of times you're just being a fucking moron. But you, me, everybody right now, we need to get over that avoidance of attention. We need to focus on attention. Now more than ever in our history as a country, we need to care about the fucking Ukraine. I, I don't care which, I hate sides. I don't care which side you think you're on. You need to care about the Ukraine. Ukraine is literally carrying the weight of a world right now. And you've got a guy ready to drop him in a day. I'll end it in a day. Here's the thing, if he could end it in a day and he's not ending it in a day, that makes him a fucking ass. That makes him completely amoral. Amoral, not immoral. Anybody who could end that much death in a day and doesn't do it, what does that say about him? And that's on top of all the lies. So that is way more politics than I wanted to get into. I'm going to give a tip of the hat to Biden. I was wrong, man. Um, I'm sorry for what you're going through, but dude, you did everybody proud. I'm 100% signed on to your VP. She's going to kick it out the park. Knock it out the park. Kicking it out of the park is actually bad. She's going to knock it out the park. She already is. At the point that I put this up, she was almost at 30 million raised since she said that she would accept the nomination. So she's tearing it up. So the last thing I want to do on this particular stream, again, I'm going to be dedicated to the truth. So I'm going to do streams for my art. The longest streams are going to be art. They're always going to be live. You may get a lot of truth streams that are just videos, just because I don't like scripting live streams. That's kind of shitty. And the truth videos, it would really help if they were more scripted. So I'm going to do truth-centered videos. Some of them will be political. Like I said, I don't really consider the current politics even that much politics. But, so I'll do art streams, I'll do the truth streams, and then I'm going to try every Sunday to do, no, I'm going to commit to it. Every Sunday I'm going to do the Eleusinian rites. If you see this, you can send a comment, see what I should call it. Should I call it rites or services? But I am definitely a Dionysian. I mean, that's obvious. So these will be more formulaic going forward. This one was special because of the interruption of the politics and the dog bath and the sickness. But the services on Sundays, they're meant to be a release from typical church services on Sundays. I'm not going to go over my past with that in this particular video. We'll get into that probably the next one. The next non-art one, we'll get into that. A little bit more about me. But going forward on Sundays, I'm going to do the Eleusinian rites. And it will be more... I used a really good word earlier. I haven't had enough alcohol. I need more alcohol. I can think better. More... Started with F, didn't it? Anyway. So, starting next Sunday, hopefully they will be more formulaic. Exactly, that's what it was. Hopefully starting next Sunday, the Eleusinian rites will be more formulaic. My boy may be joining us. That'd be cool. my props to my God of choice. I'll explain that a little bit more I'll tell you what, if you do see this, you can send some comments about what you'd like to see truth-wise. But one thing I'll do is I'll go over uh, my attachment to Dionysus. Uh, yeah. So one thing I'm going to do each Sunday is I'm going to go over the rite itself. I've fasted. I've drunk from the cup. I've received from the box. Having done, I put into the basket, and out of the basket into the chest. I have fasted. I haven't eaten dinner. Haven't eaten dinner, which is bad for me. I have drunk from the cup, a pint of wine. Mostly through with it. It's fucking dangerous. I think this is a 6%. So, I have received from the box, my tobacco box, into my pipe. Or if you prefer, you saw me using the matchbox into my pipe. From the box into the basket of my pipe. And from the basket to the chest. Now, one thing I did plan to do today, but in all the turmoil I didn't get done, is I've been trying to do a tarot reading every day. Today I let it slip because of all the shit that's happened. But before I do my next stream, even well, not just next week, but before I do my next stream, I'm going to do a 5 spread. I do 5 spreads, and then we can discuss that if you want. But yeah, that's really all I got. Felt good. I know a lot of people aren't used to me being here yet. A lot of people don't care, and a lot of people have not gotten the message yet either. So, with that, I'm Daxula. I hope you have a good night. I'll probably take a break from politics tomorrow since I didn't get to do it today. If I do a truth video tomorrow, maybe we'll do the Dionysus one tomorrow. Dionysus.